Yo, boy, Jamie Woods in Ibirapuera Park. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly for my paulistas that are watching this. If I'm not pronouncing it correctly, which is Ibirapuera Park, please put it down in the comment section, please, because I want to know how to properly pronounce it. But this is what I have to say about this park. I love this place so much. Like, this place is literally the Central Park of São Paulo. It literally reminds me of Central Park. It's not as big as Central Park is. I believe Central Park is actually bigger, but this is still very big, very spacious. A lot of people here, a lot of activity, bikes everywhere, people running, in fact, I think people out here are actually more active than people in Central Park. I don't see this many people running in Central Park compared to over here. But that leads me to my next topic, and that is, I think, like, Brazilian people really take pride in staying active. I believe at this point it's a part of the culture, because everywhere I've been to so far in Brazil, people really want to be active. Hold on, it's a buggle here. All right. People really want to be active. They want to run, they want to walk, they want to go to the beach, they want to play football, they want to play volleyball. Like, they always want to be active. You know what I mean? Like, they want to dance, you know, they want to do shit in the bedroom. Everything that they like involves activity. It involves exercise. Everyone's looking at me crazy, like, oh my God, this guy's talking English and shit. They're looking at me all crazy right now. They're probably not used to people speaking English out here. I feel like I'm the only American in this place right now. But yeah, I think Brazilians really take pride in exercising. They take pride in staying fit, staying active. I think Brazilians might be some of the most fit people I've ever seen. I've traveled around Europe and I thought Europeans were fit, but no, Brazilians are on a different level of fit. Like, it's just a different level over here. These people have, you know, barely any obese people over here. Of course, you still encounter them, and it is what it is. You know, you're gonna find that every single country is nothing. You know, everyone lives different lifestyles, right? But you barely find obese people out here, man. Everyone's pretty much fit or close to it. You know what I mean? There ain't no fat people over here like that, man. And that's something that I like about Brazilian people, is that they stay active. They'd rather go to the gym than getting surgery and all that. And you still find that around here, but they'd rather do it the hard way, which is working their asses off to get the type of body that they want, rather than paying for it. You know what I mean? I really respect that about Brazilian people. Another thing is, I feel like I'm one of the few English speakers in this city. You know, like, not too many people speak much English out here. You know, so lucky for me, my Spanish has, like, really helped me out. So Portunol, they call it Portunol. So Portunol, for any of you guys that don't know, actually, let me show you this over here. This is my shoulders hurt so damn much from the shoulder workouts. But Portunol is basically a mix of Portuguese and Spanish, for those of you guys that don't know, okay? So Portuguese, Espanol, so Portunol. So my Portunol has really helped me out here. Of course, it's not perfect. Like, obviously, you really need to be kind of fluent in Portuguese, or at least close to it, to really navigate well around this city and try to speak to the locals. Because that's one thing I try to do, is speak to the locals. Like, I literally force myself to speak to people. You know what I mean? If I see a cashier, if I see a waiter, a waitress, whomever, a local that's just chilling, I stop by and I talk to them. And I always go up to them and be like, oi, you know, bom dia, boa tarde, boa noche, como tudo bem, como está, no falo mucho português, fala inglês. And most of the time they're gonna say no, because a lot of people here don't speak English. I think in Rio, they actually speak more English than they do out here, because I think Rio has more tourists, so it makes more sense as to why they speak more English out there than here. But still, like, not many people speak English out here, but that's what I usually do to get to that point. And, you know, some people do, they have a minimal understanding out here of English. Some people do. Most people don't even know a lick of English out here, though. But that's what I do. I'll speak to them like that, and then I'll just use a little bit of whatever I know in Portuguese, the slang, the terms I know in Portuguese, and my Spanish. And that honestly has gotten me through the finish line out here. You know, and people respect it. People actually respect it. The people respect the fact that I take the time to learn their language, learn their culture, learn their slang, learn their terms. And they respect that about me, because not many Americans come out here and try to really embrace the culture and embrace the language. And I think I've gotten nothing but respect out here from the Brazilian people, because they really love that. They love the fact that I really try to meet them halfway, or try to really speak to them Portuguese. And sometimes they'll tell me, like, to the ones that do know English, they'll tell me, hey, you want me to speak to you in English? And I'm like, no, I want you to speak to me in Portuguese, because I really want this to be my third language. And the only way I'm gonna get better at it is to have a great understanding of it. I feel like that's the beginning stages of learning a language, is understanding it, right? Understanding it, whether that's someone speaking to you or you reading it. I think that's the first signs. That's the first thing you need to do, is understand it and learn how to read it. After you do all that, then from there, then you start to pick up on more words, you start to speak it more, and then you're well-rounded from there. But yeah, just take it. If you're trying to learn a new language, if you're trying to learn Portuguese, if you're in Brazil, really make it make an effort to learn Portuguese. For my Spanish speakers, it's more easier for you guys. You guys have an advantage. It's similar, right? The words are pronounced a little bit differently. They have different words, but for the most part, the languages are very similar. So for my Spanish folk, you have an advantage out here, right? For my English folk, it's going to be more of a struggle, but Duolingo, it's free. Use it. Try to learn, the basic terms, basic stuff. And try to get a tutor, try to get a local or someone to teach you, or even show you around the city. That's another thing about Sao Paulo and Brazil in general, is it's best if you can find yourself a tour guide that speaks English, that can take you around the city. That way it's better for you to navigate compared to you doing it on your own and you struggling, because you're gonna struggle. If you don't know much Portuguese, you may struggle a little bit out here. It's still possible, you can still get around. I've seen many Americans do it, right? I'm just checking my stuff, but it's gonna be harder for y'all, you know what I mean? So get a tour guide. If learning a new language isn't your thing, try to get a tour guide and do it that way. It's gonna be a little costly depending on what you're doing, but try to get a tour guide or something, and try to get someone that knows and speaks English and can have you navigate around the city better, because or else you're kind of screwed, because none of these Uber drivers speak English, none of these cashiers, waitresses, very minimal, especially in Sao Paulo. In Rio, you may get someone that may know something, but over here in Sao Paulo, this is pure Portuguese that you're gonna hear out here. You know what I mean? I thought it would be the other way around. I thought because Sao Paulo is not, no offense to Rio, right? Rio is a great city. There are very amazing, great spots, but you would think the New York City of South America, a place that's very elegant, very sophisticated, such as Sao Paulo, would have, and everyone's so educated out here and so smart, and they're well dressed out here. Not saying that other cities aren't, but I thought because it's a bit more Americanized compared to Rio, because it is. I feel like I'm more in America here than what I was in Rio. I thought, okay, maybe that means there's gonna be more English speakers, but nah, it's no English speakers. In fact, there's less English speakers here than what there were in Rio. But lucky for me, I know Spanish, and I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to put myself in situations, even if it's a little embarrassing or awkward.